I believe now we're going to... Grantley? Yeah. We're going to go to Grantley Day, who's giving a presentation on the main stage. Please make you feel welcome.
Well, hello everybody. I've been asked to give a quick presentation today to you guys. I'm you could say industry veteran. I've been in the industry for about 20 years. I worked in the United States for 15 years, back in Australia now for about 2 years. I run a small mobile game development studio here in Melbourne, and I'm going to give a quick presentation on some of the basic skills you need to build your own mobile game and what that might actually be. So as I said, my name's Grantley Day. You can look me up on the web if you're curious to know about my credentials. I'm on Facebook, LinkedIn. My company's called Good Game Productions. As I said, I lived in the States for 15 years. I worked at a couple of big game companies. I worked at Electronic Arts for 7 years. I have credits on all these titles you can see right here. These were the original Sims in the original SimCity. They're products obviously at version 3, version 4 these days. I've been an engineer most of my life, a computer programmer. Obviously that's what an engineer is. And I was an engineer on a lot of these products. I also worked at Namco for a couple of years when I was in the States. I actually was responsible for getting that license for Namco Bandai back in the day, which was about 7, 8 years ago now. So it was a great product, a great real-time strategy game. Made a lot of money for the company. I worked at Atari for a couple of years. I was actually the executive producer. I was executive producer on Neverwinter Nights 2 and Dungeons & Dragons Online, if you may have heard those games, which I'm sure you have. Also worked at a couple of other smaller gaming companies, a Korean game company called Gamers First. And lastly, I worked on a trading card game called Chaotic, which was a game primarily released in the United States and Europe. I don't know if any of you guys have played Magic the Gathering or products like that. It was a sort of a game similar to that product. So my company's called Good Game Productions. As I said, we're a small development studio here in Melbourne. Very tiny. I have a couple people working here in Melbourne, a couple people in the States, and a couple people in China. And we've done a couple of apps. They're on the App Store. We've done a game based on Full Metal Brotherhood. You may have heard of that franchise. It's a great little game. I don't know if you've got your iPhones, but you can download it from the App Store. It's free. You can play it. It's a trading card game if you've got any experience in that. There's one of the screens from it. So the main presentation, what I want to talk about today is what does it take to build your own mobile game and what does it take to get into this space? And many of you may have interest in mobile game development. The great thing about developing for the mobile game platform is that it's really easy to get into. It doesn't require any special skills. It doesn't require any special degree. It really requires a talent in a couple of key areas which you or your friends can do. And the first thing I recommend to people is, get together with a group of your buddies and find out what your strengths are. There's really 3 main areas that you need to be successful in this space. You need to have a good programmer, someone who's good at mathematics or has a programming degree or just, is a natural programmer. And the thing I've learned about Australians is that we pick up things pretty fast and pretty easily ourselves. So if you've got an aptitude for programming, then, give it a try. Download the necessary software that's required. On the iPhone, you need a product called Xcode. If you're developing for Android devices, you can use an IDE called Eclipse, which is an integrated development environment that allows you to build for Android products. The second thing you need is you're going to need art. You want to get together with a buddy or two who can do artwork. This is a really important thing that a lot of people miss. They think that programming is the only thing that you need to make a video game. It's not. You need a really good artist. You need to be able to show artwork. I'm going to show you our game here. For the Full Metal Brotherhood game we have, the artwork in this specific product is actually, provided by the franchise. Full Metal, we all know what Full Metal is. We know about the characters in Full Metal, and that actually, provides artwork. But if you're getting into the space, you're going to need artwork. So get together with a buddy who knows artwork. And then the final thing you're going to need is you're going to need someone who knows about production. And production is sort of a loose term that we use in the space to talk about like a business manager, someone who manages and keeps together the project, keeps it running, keeps it working, and I apologize for this ing that I keep doing. I'm not used to talking on a mic. So, you know, you're going to need to have someone who knows how to do production. So they're typically the 3 key areas that you're going to need to have people working in to do a mobile game. Programming, someone to write the code, artwork, someone to do the graphics, and production, someone to sort of hold the whole product together, to do, you know, who has the vision of what the product is and keep it on track. And if you can find, you know, 3 of your buddies or 2 of your buddies who can do one of these each things, you can build your own mobile app. It's really easy and costs very little money. The only money you put into it is your own time. Once you've built your own app, it's really easy to actually take that app and actually put it up on the App Store. And then once it's on the App Store, you can actually, you know, sell it, make some money. And in this industry, if you're looking to get into a large company like Electronic Arts or so forth, the way you do it these days is by building your own small little game and then sending it to them and sending it to human resources at those companies. And the people at those companies look closely at what you've done, especially if you've built your own product. And based upon that, you know, you might get offered a job. The way I got into the industry 20 years ago is I had a small game company. I built a game with a buddy of mine. I did the programming, he did the graphics. We actually sent it to EA here in Australia, and EA in the States contacted us, and they moved us to the States, and we got a job over there. I actually worked on Populous, the original game. It's so funny, you guys know all these old products that are like so old. I mean, half of them came out before half of you were probably born. So it's quite funny. Yeah, so, you know, it's an interesting space. It's a great space to get into. It's really fun. I can tell you I've had 20 great, fantastic years working in the industry. Met a lot of great people. I noticed the previous guy was talking about a lot of people who are actually personal friends of mine. And, you know, it's a really fantastic industry. And I highly recommend anyone who wants to try to get into it to try to get into it. Do we have the ability to take questions? Does anyone have any questions? Anything like that? Cool. Okay, well, thank you very much, and good luck with your apps.